Packing for one trip is easy. Packing for two different climates in one carry-on? That's where it gets a little tricky. In this video, I'm packing for a mixed Europe trip in the spring. In total, it will be about 3.5 weeks, and I'll be in Ireland and Portugal, where the climate, the weather, and the vibes are pretty different. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I'm approaching my packing for this type of trip, and I'll talk about some key pieces that I'm choosing, some specific Europe must-haves, and my overall thought process and methodology, so that you can use the same approach for your own trips. And I've also got a couple of new tricks that I haven't shown yet. Also, this is a really special packing episode because these are actually our group trips that we're hosting. So we're going with a bunch of you guys, our subscribers, which is amazing and crazy, and I'm so excited. So be sure to follow along on social media and keep an eye out for the vlogs. So for a trip like this, I start with 1 or 2 trip-specific must-have items so that I'm not trying to squeeze them in at the very end. And I call these my packing starters. So my first starter is a good rain jacket. I already know I'll need this, so it gets chosen first. I'll be bringing my rain jacket from Lululemon, and it holds up really well in the rain and the wind, but it still works as a nice spring jacket. It's stylish enough that it almost looks like a trench coat, especially if you go with black or khaki color, so it can double as a regular jacket in other parts of Europe too. And double duty items are the key to packing light. And this actually leads perfectly into today's sponsor, Unbound Merino. Something you'll always see me travel with is a few key pieces of merino wool clothing. It's truly the ultimate travel hack. It's breathable, comfortable, and temperature regulating, so it works just as well on long travel days and flights as it does in cooler, damp weather like in Ireland or on warmer days in Portugal. The best part is that it's naturally odor resistant, which means you can rewear pieces multiple times without needing to wash them. When people ask how I pack for a 3-week trip in just a carry-on, this is a big part of it. Unbound Merino has classic, versatile pieces that work across all kinds of travel days. Check out the links in the video description and the first comment to my favorite Unbound Merino pieces. All right, now my second starter is a waterproof shoe. And for most trips, I actually start by choosing my shoes first and then build my outfits around them. Now, for any trip, I bring a maximum of 3 pairs of shoes. The first pair is a walking shoe, something like a clean white or neutral sneaker. The second pair is something for the weather, in this case, something waterproof. And the third pair is a me shoe, something that I just love wearing or a bit of a bonus option. Now, I'm torn. Initially, I was planning to bring my New Balance sneakers as my walking shoe and then my waterproof Chelsea boots. But last minute, I ordered a pair of Vessi waterproof sneakers, and while I'm waiting for them to arrive, I asked my email list for a bit of feedback, if anyone had them, whether they're actually waterproof, if they're comfortable, all of that. And so many of you responded with your thoughts and tips, so thank you to everyone who messaged me back. I really appreciate it. So if they fit well and I can break them in as much as possible, this would probably replace both my walking and waterproof shoes, which is kind of the ultimate goal when you're packing carry-on only, is finding pieces that can do double duty. And then I may also decide to bring a simple, comfortable, strappy sandal, something for warmer days in Portugal. I have a couple pairs that I'm deciding between. They're flat, they're lightweight, and they don't take up much space. I'll definitely do an unpack with me follow-up video if you want to see how everything worked out, especially the shoes. All right, now that we've covered the packing starters, the next thing I do is create a quick visual plan of what my days will look like so that I can make better decisions about what to actually pack. And I did make a template for this that you can download for free. It's basically an outfit planner. So I go through my itinerary and then assign each day 1 or 2 main activities, like a travel day, sightseeing, hiking, shopping, museums, things like that. Then I build a visual list of the items I'm considering bringing. I use Canva for this. You can either take photos of your clothes and upload them, or just go to the brand's website and copy and paste the product images right onto the layout. Or you can also use ChatGPT for this. You can put in something like, make me an image of a flat lay black cardigan with nothing else in the image. For most trips, I use either the 3x3x3 or the 5-4-3-2-1 method, and if you need a refresher on those, I'll link my videos in the description. At this stage though, you don't need to stick to those exact numbers, just aim to get as close as possible. So you might end up with something that looks like this, which is definitely more than I'll actually pack, but it's a really helpful starting point. Then from there, you can start building outfits by day or category, which quickly shows you what you actually need and makes it much easier to narrow everything down into something more realistic, like this. So here's what made the final cut. These pants are merino wool and they're so light and flowy and really comfortable, so they'll work in cool weather and also warmer weather. This black cardigan, it's also merino wool. Underneath it, I have a lighter colored V-neck t-shirt, and I always have to pack a classic crew neck white t-shirt. These are currently my favorite jeans. I'm loving the wide leg look. And for me, they're really comfortable and a little bit stretchy. I might honestly wear these on my travel day with a merino wool tee and a travel hoodie on top because I do like having a hood on the airplane when possible. I'm also loving this red sweater. It's merino wool again, so it's really lightweight, but it's really nice and cozy. Of course, I never travel without my black V-neck. And in my last packing video, Chris showed how he wore his for 14 days in a row. So if any of you really want to take it to the extreme, it can be done. And I think I'll throw in this neutral cardigan as well. So after creating these outfits, I honestly don't think I need any more than this. Ultimately, this will be what I pack, and then if I have room or want to change a couple of things, I can decide to do that later. Like I might end up adding in a pair of leggings and this t-shirt dress, which is actually merino wool. So if it's warm, I can toss the leggings and wear it as a dress or use it as a base outfit, like adding a cardigan or a sweater. I might also consider this cape scarf I have. It's really cozy and light, and it can be worn in 15 different ways because of where the armholes are placed and how the color blocking works. So it can be worn on the long side or flipped over for the short side. You can add a belt. There's lots of different ways. I'm still learning all the different styles that you can create. So I'll link the website where I got it from because they have some really good style inspo on how you can wear this. And there's lots of other colors too. But this might be another travel day outfit option because I'm still in merino wool as my base, and I don't hate the idea of a t-shirt because this scarf can turn into a blanket or a shoulder covering if I do get chilly, and I can easily make myself a little hood for when I want to get cozy and get some sleep. For my daily bag, I'm going to bring my Aoyama from Low & Sons. This is my absolute favorite travel bag. It can be worn 3 different ways because of the convertible strap, so either as a crossbody, a shoulder bag, or a little handbag when you put it into dumpling mode. It can hold a lot, and it's also got a great quick access front zipper pocket. Now for all the small things that I pack inside my day bag, things that I bring with me when I'm out traveling and sightseeing, I'll link my sponge bag video and it goes into all the detail over there. Now I put together a full packing checklist for a trip to Europe, so please go download that if you haven't already, and please use it for your next trip. It's also great for any trip, not just Europe. But I do want to point out a few specific items that are very important to bring. First, I'll be bringing my universal travel adapters. I like these ones from Epica, because the outlet plugs are going to be different between Ireland and Portugal, and so that's something to consider even if you're not going to these 2 countries. If you're going on a multi-country trip, you're probably going to encounter different outlets. I'm bringing 2 just because we have a lot of camera gear and things to plug in, but I am going to be bringing my laptop, so that's why I do need the 65 watt. Travel adapters do not change voltage though, just be aware of that. But so far, I've never needed to bring a voltage converter because most modern electronics are dual voltage, but please always check first. Now that brings me to hair tools. I'm going to be bringing my hairdryer brush. I use it at home all the time, and this is how I like doing my hair. And this is dual voltage. And now that I have bangs, I'm also packing my mini hair straightener, which is also dual voltage. And I got these both on Amazon, so I'll link those below if you want to check them out. Now, if you have other hair tools you're bringing, if they're not dual voltage and you plug them into the outlets in Europe just using the adapter and not the converter, they're going to fry. Now, there's usually fine print on your actual devices, so make sure you check just in case. Things like phones and laptops and iPads are usually always dual voltage. This one's a little random, but washcloths are not very common in European hotels if you've never been before. So if you need to use washcloths, I would recommend packing what you need. I also pack a couple of foldable hangers as there never seem to be enough, especially if I need to dry or air out some clothes. Of course, toiletries. For me, the biggest thing, the most important thing is a hanging toiletry bag, just in case any bathrooms you encounter in your hotel have minimal counter space. So either this style or this style are my two favorites, and I also recommend bringing a suction cup to give you some added flexibility where you can hang your bag. And then just decant all of your liquids into smaller containers or pouches. I'll point you to my blog post about the full list of toiletries that I bring if you're interested in going through that. The biggest thing and my best tip though is remember that you can always buy items if you need them, and so start with liquid toiletries that you know you can't buy or would be too expensive to buy. So if you have special hair product, lotion, sunscreen, certain makeup, prioritize what you need first. And then you just might need to buy little things like contact solution, hand lotion, toothpaste, shampoo. All of these things are usually readily available to purchase. I know makeup can be one of the hardest things to cut down on, so look for swaps where you can. Like this lip balm from Winky Lux, it goes on sheer and then it reacts with your lip's natural pH to create your own custom shade of pink. So you don't need to pack multiple lip products. Okay, now let's go downstairs and pack everything up. First, I'll demonstrate with the Monos carry-on. I've used this in Europe a couple of times recently. And here are my clothes. The pile on the left is what I'll pack first, and on the right is my travel outfit, which I'll leave out for now, but I'll show you a couple of different packing options. First, I'll pack my clothes in. I'm not using packing cubes right now, just for demonstration purposes so that you can actually see what goes in here. Then I packed my boots, don't worry, they're clean. And on the other side, I have some clothes in between the trolley handle, my hair tool, and then my packing cube with socks, underwear, bras, and pajamas. And no, you're not going to see any of that, but it's in there. Then I've got my toiletry bag, and then I'm just tucking some small things in where they fit. Here I'm trying to show you there's a lot of empty space, so there's definitely more room if needed. So I'll throw in my sandals and then zip it all up because I know you will ask. It weighs 18 pounds or 8 kilograms. And because we have the room, I decided to see if my travel outfit would still fit in here, and it does, no problem. Now I'm going to empty everything out of this and then pack it all up into a top open carry-on for comparison. So I'll be using the Bricks carry-on, which I also love for Europe and I've used there as well. I have a full video dedicated to this bag if you want more details on why I love it. So again, I'm just packing everything up so you can see how it differs from a clamshell. I actually stood my boots up and that worked really well. Space-wise, it's pretty much the same, just a different layout. All packed up, everything weighs 16.6 pounds or 7.5 kilograms, so a little lighter than the Monos. Again, I had room to add my travel outfit, so I did, and the bag is definitely not overstuffed. Now that's pretty much all I need to pack. Everything else will just be a few small flight items, as well as my electronics. And I've made lots of videos about what I bring for that, or you can check out the packing spreadsheet for the full list of electronics that I recommend bringing. That is basically everything that I need to bring, but I still get to bring a personal item. Now, I have good news and bad news when it comes to my personal item. The good news is that I am bringing and testing a brand new personal item on this trip, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. The bad news is that I can't quite show it to you yet. It's not quite ready to launch, but hopefully shortly after we're back from the trip, it will be, so definitely stay tuned because you're gonna really like it. So other options for a personal item bag, I would probably either bring the bento bag. This thing will give you so much extra room for anything else that you need to bring. And so if everything that I showed you that I packed is still not enough, you still have an entire 20 some liters to play with. Another option is this flight bag from Low & Sons. I love how sleek it is, and it's just the perfect size to fit a laptop and some small things that you'll need on the plane. I also like the Away Everywhere bag. Chris and I each brought one of those to Europe last year, and it worked out really good. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.